Welcome back to another one of my live streams. And a lot of y'all may be tuning in for the first time, but I have changed my time from 4 o'clock Central Time to 3:30 Central Time. So hopefully that won't throw things off too much. But I am here to answer your questions, to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about today. I don't have a topic for today, so pretty much whatever y'all want to talk about. Any questions that you have regarding t-shirt printing, go ahead and ask, and I will do my best to answer them. I'm also taking video requests, so if you're watching this live, or if you're watching it at a later time, if you go ahead and type in your video request, I will also be sure to do a video on those things. All right, how y'all doing today? You can't see me. Let me see what the deal is. All right, I'm gonna restart this again. I'm gonna restart this again because I've been fooling with this thing, trying to get my screen capture to work. So I'm gonna give me a few minutes and I'm gonna restart it. All right, hopefully this is better and you guys can see me now. All right, everything should be better. Sorry about that. I have been fooling around with this thing, trying to get the screen capture working so that I could get that video out for you guys. I don't know. I just been having a few computer issues and haven't had a chance to. Well, it's not really computer issues, just program issues. So, Blue Division says, what's the paper company you use when you print full color photos? I use the Laser One. The Laser One opaque transfer paper, and it's by Nina, and it's for laser printers. All right, how is the volume? Is the volume okay? I've been trying to adjust the volume to get everything just right. And let me ask them, make sure the door is locked for me, because if people see me over here, they might come thinking I'm open on a Sunday. Thank you. All right, let me see. No, it's not borderless. You can actually, if you print it out in Photoshop, you can print it so that it comes out borderless if you adjust the settings. How you doing, Lou? All right. Anybody working on any projects this coming up week? I just did I'm running a special for this month. I just posted, well, I've been posting a few I can't even talk, a few flyers around town in places that'll allow me to post flyers. And I actually have been on Facebook, even though I don't really go on there much. So I'm running a special for this month. And I got a big old pimple on my forehead. Y'all can probably see it. Marcus Glover says, do I use plastisol heat transfer paper? I have never used it before. I actually have some. Elson, do one more thing for me. Turn that light on over there. I'm sorry. This is my last thing. I have some, but I have not started using it yet. I'm going to have to, when I do get a chance to, I guess, experiment with it, then I'm going to, I'll post a video on it, because that's something that for football season that I would like to do. And that way, especially for the little kids shirts, because on Fridays the kids can wear spirit shirts to school, but I'm not printing every day, so I'm not printing the spirit shirts except for on Thursdays and Fridays. So when they come in and they want spirit shirts, maybe I can have them already ready and just go ahead and print them. Because I'm mostly printing for the games, those designs, but I can have some other designs that I can print for the kids. The special, Jamin asked, what's the special? I'm doing 10 shirts for $99, and that's one print, and on any color shirt you want it. And you can add 2 shirts to it for $20 extra. So that's, they saving a good bit. They saving $5 to $10 by ordering a few shirts like that. Amanda Haggard says, how do you price your vinyl shirts? Depending on what they want on the shirts, like if they want one small image, they can get a shirt for $15. And that's depending on, if they, with vinyl, I only do a few shirts. I don't do like big orders with vinyl. But if they want like a full front, it'll be like $20. Then each additional print is like $5 or $10, depending on, like, if it's a name. If it's a full front, it'll be $20. And then if you want the name on the back, then that'll be $5 extra. But if you want a full back, that'll be $10 extra. So that's how I usually price them. Aspire T-shirt work said, when you do rip RIP shirts, what paper and process do you use for the photo? I usually, for the RIP shirts, just use the Laser One opaque, and that's pretty much what I use. I'm trying to get better lighting because I'm seeming like I'm real dark on here, but I got the AC on. I was just trying to not be too close to it so that it wouldn't be so loud or whatever. But yeah, usually I use the transfer paper for those shirts because I haven't actually got into the process printing, which is something that I want to eventually get into also. Stephen Jones said, what was my scariest part after starting my business? Art reproduction, supply, and demand, and how did I get through it? Let me see. The scariest thing. I mean, I wasn't even. I can't really say that anything has really scared me about it or made me nervous or whatever. But some of the things that I kind of worried about in the beginning was not having enough vinyl to do the shirts, because in the beginning I was doing the vinyl, and I used to order the 5-yard rolls, and that was like when I first opened my shop before I actually got into screen printing, or not having the order completed on time because it would take a long time to do the vinyl. And I guess that's about it. Once I learned how to screen print, I used to have to order extra shirts because I used to mess up a lot in the beginning. But once I got that down, I guess those are the only 2 things that I worried about: messing up the shirts when I first started screen printing, and having enough materials for the order, because everybody don't come in and order way ahead of time where you would have time to order the extra vinyl and stuff like that. So that, I guess those were the 2 things that I kind of worried about. And then, like in the beginning, I didn't keep as many different colors as I do now. So sometimes I wouldn't have the color that the people wanted, and I would have, if I couldn't order, I would have to try to get them to choose a different color and things like that, because I don't have a local place where I can get the things in quickly or go there and pick it up. Jamming, for sports jerseys, do you charge per letter and number? Well, for sports jerseys, I usually charge $25 plus the cost of the jersey to print it, and that's usually with the name on the front, sometimes like a small number, and a full back, and that's usually what I charge to print the sports jerseys. But a lot of the people, they bring their own, and that's for one color. If I'm layering the design or it's going to be multicolor, it will be extra from there. Mark Kowalski asks, are you messing around with water-based inks at all? I started off using water-based ink. If you look at some of my older videos, you can see me printing a few items with water-based ink, but I use Plastisol now. I have thought about, getting water-based inks in, but I feel like water-based ink works better with lighter colors, so I kind of just stick to the Plastisol, but I might get into that a little bit and kind of do a few videos for you guys, because I do get a lot of questions about water-based ink. So, I mean, that wouldn't be a problem to just get some water-based ink. And if it's something I want to know about water-based ink, just let me know, and I can try to incorporate that into some of the videos. And Amanda Hager says, do I get the deposit or payment up front? I usually get a deposit if they're ordering group orders, but if I also have a contract or a print agreement that explains to them, okay, if you order a certain number of shirts and you get a price break for that certain number of shirts, it's treated as one item. I'm not allowing you to order 50 shirts just so you can get the discount, and then you say, well, 25 people didn't get their shirts, so that's another thing to take into consideration. And right now I'm doing half. If it's a group order, if it's at least 25 shirts or more, you can pay half, but if it's less than that, then I'm expecting them to pay the whole amount. I use a high opacity water-based ink, and it is great for colors, called Permaset. Well, if I might have to look into that, because I probably, since I have quite a few people asking about water-based ink, I'll probably go ahead and order a little something, probably some speedball inks or something, just to have some water-based ink and kind of give people an idea of what it's like working with the water-based ink. And I guess I could do a comparison of water-based versus Plastisol inks. You're welcome, Amanda. How you doing, Scooby-Doo? And thank y'all for tuning in. I know I'm a little earlier than usual, but I'm trying to change my time from 4 o'clock to 3:30. So I tried announcing it at the last live stream and in a couple of the videos that I posted. So from now on, I'm going to try to do 3:30 Central Time. Stephen Jones says, what's your usual way of marketing your business? Your videos have been very helpful. Thank you for watching, Stephen. One of the things that I feel like helped me out a lot as far as advertising is Facebook, because everybody's on Facebook. And I feel like when I started, like, we had a football team that was a really good team. And the first year I started printing the football shirts, they made it to state. And they ended up losing. If you're on the internet, I need you off, because you're messing up my live stream. But if when I first started doing the football shirts, I would do a new shirt each Friday, and I would post that shirt onto this group page that I have on Facebook, and people would just storm in here. And the way that I did it, I printed as they came in. So when the people would walk in the door, with some people that was regulars that I pretty much know they're going to pay and stuff like that. So it was a few of those that I would go ahead and print them for. And I would print a couple of shirts just to have like on display in my window and stuff like that. I might print one for me and my kids in the different colors so they can see what it looks like on the different color shirts when they come in. So, there was the Facebook, just putting it in a group on Facebook and posting the price and everything was a good marketing thing. And one of the other things that we have available around here, some of the different places like the laundromats and a few of the stores, you can hang flyers up. I do that sometimes. I have in the past printed some small flyers and hand them out to people, like if they come in and buy something, or just when I guess I really was doing that more when I was doing the DVDs. I would put the flyers out like that. But pretty much any of those would be free or low cost ways to advertise. How you doing, Apuk Eldor? I think that's how you pronounce it. I may be butchering it. Let me know if I'm mispronouncing it and I'll try it again. And you also asked what mesh do I use? I use 110, 160, and 230 meshes. Those are like meshes that I use on a regular. And I also have a 30 mesh, which is for the glitter ink. But I try not to use too much. I try not to use do the glitter inks too much because I had a bad experience with it, and I actually have that video that I need to edit, and I can kind of show you guys the issues that I had dealing with the glitter ink. So I probably in the future won't be printing any glitter ink. I'll probably only do the shimmer inks. Yeah, and the thing with the screen meshes is the higher the screen mesh, the better detail you have. So if you have a really detailed design that you're printing, then using the 300 and above mesh will be good. Thanks, Stephen. Jammin says I go that high only for half tones using the 300 or 320 mesh. Yeah, that's mostly, when you have a high detail or half tones. Amanda says if you're looking for a good price vinyl, JSI Signs here in Atlanta. Well, they're in Atlanta. I'm in Louisiana. That's a place y'all could check out. William Hart says, I hate glitter ink. Must have very chunky design with no small details. I also have to be careful about curing because ink deposit is so thick. Man, I had such a bad experience using that glitter ink. That's part of why I have not edited the video because, I don't know, maybe I can just do the video and let you guys see how bad the experience I had was. But from here on, I will be telling my customers that the shimmer ink is the glitter ink because the actual glitter ink, man, it was such a problem. I mean, it just kept getting stuck in the screens, and I kept having to stop and clean it off. Just a whole bunch of issues with that. If you had something that's not taking up as much, then it probably wouldn't be a problem. But that's taking up a lot of ink, a lot of ink, a lot of internet. But yeah, and the other thing, when you print the glitter ink, it because of the mesh of the screen, you can the holes in the ink are really big, so you use a lot of ink when you're using the glitter ink. Stephen Jones says, am I surprised by the amount of work that goes into screen printing or heat pressing? I prefer screen printing over heat pressing. The thing with the screen printing, I feel like it's more prepping, but the actual act of printing, it doesn't take as long as the heat transfer because it's like you gotta weed everything, and then you have to line up each thing, each design, and all that is like extra time taking. But when you're printing on a silk screen press, all you have to do is make sure that your shirt is on there straight and make sure that you have the proper angle with your squeegee and that you get enough ink on there. So I think, well, to me, I feel like it's more work in the vinyl than it is in the screen printing. I don't know, Elson, because my thing is messing up again. See, you can look and see what I'm seeing. You see, I'm supposed to be on live screen and my screen is froze up. Go ahead and get off, because I don't know what that is you on. You understand? Go ahead and get off. I don't know. I don't know why it's doing that, but my screen is like froze up now. Okay, now my screen back to normal. I'm sorry about the difficulties. I got my son over here with me, and he's trying to do some stuff online, and it's just causing a few issues. So I told him to go ahead and get offline. So, I don't know. AT&T have been having a lot of issues in my area. I just switched my home internet to Suddenlink, and this was just last week, so I may end up switching the one at the shop too, because it's kind of causing problems, and it's been out quite a bit. William Hart says that the silver ink usually works better, but some of the colors are more likely to stick in the screen. It's also very expensive. Yeah, I used the gold. Maybe that was it if I would have used silver, but you know, my customer requested the gold. You're welcome, Stephen. Um, which color I use, argon or something else? I'm not sure if you're asking me that question or not. I'm not understanding unless you're talking about the glitter vinyl, the glitter vinyl. Unless you're talking about the glitter ink, I don't know what you're talking about, but I use the gold glitter ink. Terrence Cruz said, how am I doing? Do I think it's necessary to purchase a cap press? I actually don't have a cap press, but I've been thinking about looking into it. I've had a couple of people ask me about it, and I had and I guess that's over the years. I might have had maybe 4 or 5 people the whole time I've been printing ask if I print hats, and I just haven't got one up to this point because I'm like, you know, I haven't had enough people ask. But then the pizza company that I print the shirts for, they're getting ready to open up and everything. So she asked me about it. So I'm probably going to go ahead and get one, but I do not think it's necessary. You don't have to have a cap press. If you have some people that may need it, like if you're doing something for a business and they wear the caps, you know, it would be nice to have a cap press, but it's not a necessity. Aspire t-shirts said, what's the most vinyl colors I will have layered on a shirt? I try not to do more than about 3 colors, but I have in the past done quite a few. I always try to explain to them, and then you know when you're charging extra for the different colors and layers, a lot of times that'll kind of turn them off from wanting more. But some people don't care. They even if they gotta pay $50 for a t-shirt, and I have sold a few t-shirts that was that price or higher, but I try not to do more than about 3, and I try to explain to them, as you get more layers on the design, the design's going to be thicker. So sometimes you can deter them from that by explaining to them how thick it's going to be. But I try not to do more than 3. I have probably done 5 or 6. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, it's been a pretty good little journey, me doing the t-shirts, because things haven't always went well with it, and sometimes I've had to have other jobs. But yeah, once you can get it going pretty good, it'll make money. Apuk Eldar said, which plastisol do I use? I mostly use Union plastisol inks, but I use Rutland for the white. Is your battery low? I think that Phoenix White. I can't remember if it's by Union. I thought it was pretty creamy. I thought it was the one of the creamiest inks I've used, Scooby Doo, and I actually liked using it. And you could get by with one pass. Well, not really one pass, but one print on the black T-shirts. But it's just real expensive. And when I first started out, I had bought that because they was like the company that I was purchasing from at that time. They recommended that, and I used it. And then the next time I ordered, I ended up ordering quite a few things, and I just tried the Rutland White just to see how it was gonna be, and it worked pretty good for me. I mean, I have to do 2 coats, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. Belinda Parker says, "Can we see some of your work?" If you want to see some of my work, you can go to, well, some of it is in the background of the video, but I try to post. Well, I haven't been posting on Instagram recently, but a lot of my stuff is on my Instagram, and that's T-Shirt Chick TV on Instagram, and you can see a lot of the things that I've done on there. Jammin says, I use water-based ink for white, but sometimes need plastisol. Anyone has recommendation for a creamy, easy to manipulate white plastisol ink? With most of the white plastisol inks and the high opacity inks, you're pretty much gonna have to mix it up pretty good so that it's smooth when you trying to print with it. I think that Phoenix White was pretty creamy, but it is also thick. That's just part of using the high opaque plastisol inks. Most of it's going to be thick. But if anybody have any recommendations, could y'all post it on here for jamming? Stephen Jones says, do you have to match many colors to exact colors, or do you usually get pretty close out of the containers? I have only had one order where it has had to be a perfect color, and it was for the Louis Pizza shirts. And when the lady came in, I showed her all the reds that I had, because I had a scarlet red, and I had just I think it was called a bright red, and one of them was kind of close to what she needed, so she just kind of went with that. But usually when people come in here, unless it's like a business or a big name company like Coca-Cola or Pizza Hut or something like that, usually if they'll come in here and they'll say they want red or they want blue or whatever, and it's not that specific. As long as they might want a blue, they may say they want raw blue. So if they want raw blue, light blue, or baby blue, it's not going to work for that. So it's I don't get a lot of things where I have to match the colors exact. Scooby-Doo says, I use international coatings and the white is so thick. I'm dying over here. Yeah, I guess the smoothest or creamiest I've used is that Phoenix White. Blue Division Companies asked what transfer paper I use. I use the Laser One opaque transfer paper, and it's for the laser printers. How you doing, Tom? Thanks, Apple. Thank you for watching, and you can follow me on Instagram. I should be posting more. Sometimes when I'm busy, I forget to post. I'm trying to get stuff done and get it out of here. And then sometimes I have people that come in and kind of want stuff done quickly. So, you know, I don't really want to stop and be like, hey, let me take a picture of your shirt and put it on Instagram. Because sometimes I have people that might walk in and I'll go ahead and print it for them while they're here if I'm not super busy. Yeah, yeah, Scooby, that Phoenix White is kind of expensive compared to the Rutland, but you know it works pretty good. And when I first got it, I realized how you could, like most of the white inks, because I was using the inks from Ryonet, and you had to do a double coat, but with the Phoenix you could get by with, you know, you're doing double coats, but you're not having to flash it. You know how, you know, like basic regular printing, to make sure that you get a good layer of ink down. Stephen Jones says, I've been trying to catch your live stream. Is there a certain time of the year, excluding the sports, that keep you busy, or is it just fairly steady compared to your marketing? It's pretty busy in the summertime. I mean, I the downtime I feel like is December. Like sometimes I have a lot of people coming in for like gifts, personalized gifts and stuff for family members, but December and January for sure are like pretty much dead times for me, like December after Christmas. And then by the end of February, early March is when things start to pick up. But about, you know, at least like 2 months of pretty much downtime, something like that, around 2 months. But other than that, you know, if you can get with a sports team or, you know, your local schools in the area, that should be able to keep you pretty busy, especially if you can offer different shirts that kind of stand out. And if you have like a football team, they only play that one game a week. You know, if you have a shirt related to the game that's coming up or something like that, you know, people like stuff like that. Apu says, please try the 300 mesh at once. Or please try once 300 mesh. I hope you have it just for the fun. Look the difference. I use I have 320 mesh, but I usually use the mesh that's required for whatever the inks I'm using. I mean, I don't I don't know. I know the 300 mesh would lay less ink down, and you could it would have a more softer feel. But I pretty much just kind of stick with, like, if I'm printing a design that's like block letters, I'm gonna use either 160, and 160 is pretty much my go-to mesh, or I may use the 110, but 160 is pretty much my go-to mesh. So I probably won't be using 300 for everything unless I'm doing like a detailed design or a half-tone design. No Imagination Apparel. I have not used any inks from Cat Speed. You're welcome, Steven. How you doing, Uproar? Yeah, we got started a little early today. I'm trying to do 3:30, starting at 3:30 from now on. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But for right now, I'm trying to start at 3:30. So if y'all have any questions or video requests or anything like that, just let me know. Do y'all have anybody on here? Do y'all have any special designs coming up for the 4th? Lou Richard says, do I advertise for back to school? Not really just back to school per se, but I do advertise spirit shirts because, you know, when school starts back, like around here, the kids can wear spirit shirts on Fridays. So I kind of post a few of those up. But as, as far as, just back to school, I don't really just have a specific back to school, but I just start advertising my, the spirit shirts during that time. How you doing, Gina? Yes, I make the designs. Usually, because I can't draw, I usually use the clip art and kind of manipulate it and make it into what I need it to be. Uproar says, have I ever tried Premiere Pro from Adobe to edit videos? I'm slow with it. I have. The first video editing program that I used was Windows Movie Maker, and it couldn't do everything I needed. So I was shopping at, I think it was Circuit City one day. I think it was Circuit City because they're closed down now, but they had a Sony Vegas for a cheap price. I think it might have been like $20 or $30, something like that, if I'm remembering right. And I bought it and I liked it, so I stuck with that. And I have tried a couple of other ones, but I always, I just kind of stick with that. I tried the Adobe Premiere, but it's just, you know how when you learn something and you don't want to have to go through, it's kind of like most people, they either start off, if you start off with editing with a certain program, you don't want to learn a whole different program unless you just have to. And sometimes you don't really have the time to. I mean, I can edit a video in Premiere, but as far as doing different effects and stuff like that, it's different doing it in each thing. So that's something that kind of made me just stick with Sony Vegas. Thanks, Apook. Yeah, that's one of the guys around here. He's like a promoter, and that's his crew. He have a few rappers, a few of his friends rap, and they do different like concerts and parties and stuff around here. So he's one of the big guys that one of my biggest customers. Yeah, Uproar. I prefer Sony Vegas because I'm more familiar with that. See, I started off with the Windows Movie Maker and then moved to Sony Vegas, and I learned everything about Sony Vegas. If I used to be really into the video editing, this was actually before I started printing T-shirts, but I used to go on TV and watch like a music video or a commercial or a movie or whatever, and I would in my mind be trying to figure out how I could do the same thing that they did in Sony Vegas. And so I pretty much know how to do everything in Sony Vegas. I mean, it's not much that I see done that I can't do in Sony Vegas, but for me to learn how to do that in another program, that would take more learning and time. I pretty much everything you want to know how to do is online on YouTube or other websites, but I kind of just stick with the one that I know best. I've used Avid and I've used Premiere, but I kind of just stick with Sony Vegas because I'm more familiar with it, and I can pretty much do everything I need to do in it, and some things I don't need to do. Stephen Jones said, do I use Illustrator? That's been my biggest learning curve and setback for art layout. What is the typical learning curve before you're comfortable with the program? I am not a real big user of Illustrator because I learned Photoshop first, and since Photoshop can do most of the things that I need done, I pretty much just stick with it. And it's not that I couldn't learn Illustrator, but it's just like being familiar with something and being able to do what you can do with it. So that Illustrator is something I feel like I should learn and need to learn, but I just haven't took the time out to do it. Maybe I'll eventually do that, but I don't know. The only thing I can tell you is if you want to learn Illustrator, watch you some tutorials. Go and find the basic tutorials that tell you how to do the first few steps. Like you might type in starting out with Illustrator or something like that, and once you watch those videos and they show you how to do the basic things, then you might see a design that you like and just try to recreate that design. Or you can just try something basic, like trying to create your own design and doing little things to it. Like you might want the font to be shaped in a certain way, or, different things like that. You just kind of got to play around with it. And I can't tell you how long it would take you to get comfortable with it, because I don't know exactly how long it took me to get comfortable with Photoshop. Yeah, most of that stuff is just, kind of playing around. That's even with screen printing. Like, in the beginning, I had to kind of play around with it just to get everything just right, get the right strokes and everything. Because I'm telling you, I used to mess up a lot of shirts when I first started. And I don't know exactly what I was doing. I used to push too much ink through or something, and it would just be like a blur spot right there. And I was using water-based inks. I didn't really know what I was doing. Yeah, Sony Vegas is a good program. I think I'm gonna try to do a video this week of my equipment that I started out with. Screen, not really screen print, but heat transfer printing. I have actually sold all the equipment that I started off with silk screen printing, but I can go back and kind of show some clips of videos. So I'm gonna probably do that for some of the people that's trying to get into it, so they'll kind of know, this is where she started from, and now I've kind of upgraded. I mean, my equipment is not top of the line, top notch, but it gets the job done. So I think I'm gonna kind of show you guys a little bit of that. Scooby Doo says she have more ink on her than on the shirts. You're welcome, Steven. Uproar says, have I ever thought of doing embroidery? I have, but I don't know. I don't know a lot about sewing. I don't know. I have to, I guess, do more research on embroidery, because I don't know if that's, I mean, I have a few people that come in my shop asking about embroidery, and I have tried to find other people that I know do embroidery so that I could offer it through them, because I feel like, they would get all the money from it. All I would do is take the orders or give the person their contact information. But I don't know, the people don't really seem like they're that interested, and I think it's because they don't have, like with embroidery, if you just have one embroidery machine, it's going to take a long time to get stuff done. You need to have a few of them if you're going to be taking a lot of orders like that. But I don't know. I mean, it's something that I wouldn't mind getting into, but I just haven't done the research on it to know exactly what all I need and everything like that. Lou Richard says, have I experienced customers trying to talk you down on your prices? You know what? That's funny. I started to do a live rant on that. Now, this a couple of years ago, I had this lady, and this lady had never ordered T-shirts from me, but she was having a birthday party, and they was gonna be. It was a for her. She's an adult, so she wanted birthday shirts, but she wanted them to be the baseball style shirts and wanted them to have the numbers and names on the back and some design on the front. So she called me and she was like, since she's local to me, she want to do business with me. And she was like, she called all these other people, and so one of the companies, they gave her a certain price. I can't remember what the price was, and I told her the price that I gave her was more than that, and she was like, if you can match their price, I'm gonna go with you. So I was like, well, this is my price. I can't just change my price because somebody else gave you a better price. If I was you, I'd just go with them. So if she got the shirts done, she went with them because I didn't do it. I didn't do her shirts, and this just happened last week. This was last Sunday, I believe. No, this was last either Friday or Saturday. I think it was Friday. It was last Friday. I had a woman that called me. Now, my shop closes at 5 o'clock, and sometimes I'm in here later, and sometimes I'm in here before my opening time. So this lady called me at almost 7 o'clock, and she was like, this one of my customers had gave her my number, and she wanted some birthday shirts done for her son. So I was like, when do you need the shirts by? And she was like, tonight. So I'm like, I've been at the shop all day, and this is what I'm thinking in my mind. I've been at the shop all day, and this woman has yet to call my shop, and I actually have a shop that's in an area where a lot of people can see it. It's not like it's my house that I'm doing this out of, and not that there's anything wrong with doing it out of your house. I'm just saying for this situation, if Walmart was closed or some other store was closed, she wouldn't be calling them after hours and expecting to get something done now. So she called me, and I'm over. I like to play ball whenever I can. So I'm over there playing ball, and my kids out there playing ball. So she called me asking me about doing some shirts. And then she tell me, well, this other person wasn't able to do them, and they charge $15, and they charge $10 for the kids' shirts. Well, I told her all my shirts are $15. And then here's the other thing: she wants the shirts tonight or early the next morning. So this is a rush job. So she will be paying rush fees also because she waited to the last minute, the very last minute. And so she was like, when I told her that what my prices were, and she was like, well, this person only charged $10 for the kids shirt. She was like trying to clarify, all the kids shirts $15 too. I was like, yeah, they're all 15. And so she's telling me this other person only charges 10. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, get that other person to do them if they're gonna give you a better price. So then she was like, well, the other person, they didn't have the blue letters that she wanted to go on her shirts. And I'm like explaining to them, like, well, when you buy shirts, a lot of times the kids shirts cost more than the adult shirts because they run a lot of sales on the adult shirts, and the kids shirts are pretty much going to be that same price. And I was trying to explain to her that, and then she was like, well, she gonna call some so and so back and see what they can work out, and if not, she's gonna call me back. So I just, I always leave my phone in the car because we're playing ball outside. So I go back over there, and I'm not worried about this woman calling me because it's after hours. You don't want to pay the price, and then I gotta be at the shop late because you waiting until nighttime before you call me, but you want your shirts tonight. So she ended up texting me and calling me back. I didn't even call her back or anything, So that's how I feel about that, trying to change the prices and stuff like that, so. But yeah, people will try to talk you down on your pricing, but stick with your pricing unless it's somebody that you feel that you want to give a deal to. I would just stick with my pricing. How you doing, smooth girl? William, how much is a embroidery machine? Like, to get everything I need to get started, how much can you kind of give me a roundabout price for how much everything would cost for that? I mean, I'm interested in embroidery, but I don't know if I get it. I'm not gonna let that go to waste. I'm not gonna, pay the money and then don't use it. I'll either sell it or send it back or something if it's something that I can't do. Tom said I skipped my question. Let me go back and try to find this question. Okay, all I saw from Tom was hi. Let me see. If you can type your question again, Tom, I saw that you posted hi. I'm trying to look and see if I see another question from you. I don't see any other questions from you, Tom. But if you post it again, I'll try to answer because I try not to skip any questions. Even the ones when people ask the same thing over, a lot of times I go ahead and answer it. Okay, it says, I skip your question, help. I don't, if you post it again, I'll try to answer it. Scooby-Doo says she has one embroidery machine, but it gets the jobs done. So I don't know, that's something that I would be interested in. I just haven't did everything. All right, Tom, I'm still looking for your question. I'm all the way down to the bottom. See, Scooby-Doo says hers was 28,000 plus a couple of more grand for supplies. Stephen Jones, yes, I have done the store hours and like the store names. Um, I have put the store name on a dance studio before, and I put it on it's like a boutique store and a liquor store. I've done a few. And what else have I done? I've done a few. I've also done a few on cars. Bella J says, can I do a video on different mesh screens and what inks to use with each mesh? Yes, I can do that. I'll try to get that done for you soon, real soon. Bella says, I can't stand people with that get over attitude. I'm glad you didn't continue with that lady. Yeah, I don't, I'm not really into that because I feel like, for one, when you calling me that late, you don't care about inconveniencing me. When my shop closed, you don't know how long I've been in there because sometimes I work 12 hours or more, when things are real busy. But for you to call and then not want to pay the price, I really don't want to deal with you. That's why I didn't worry about responding back to her. Yeah, Scooby-Doo, where's Jason at? Where's your homeboy at today? That's funny. Let me see. I'm still looking for the question from Tom Garcia. I have not seen it. If you posted, okay. Red shirts, purple shirts with white plastisol. All I get is bleeding. Okay. I I have not really had any issues printing on certain color shirts. The only thing is printing on black shirts. Sometimes it'll bleed through if you're not printing enough. And you said, if anybody else can help me with this, Tom, are you printing on 100% cotton, or are you printing on polyester shirts? Let me check my phone. I think it was going off. Are you printing on 100% cotton shirts? Because for screen printing, the 100% cotton shirts actually work better, unless you have like the specific ink for polyester, or if you're underbasing. You said that if you print on 50/50 shirts, and it's bleeding through, you may want to do a white underbase, or get you some polyester ink, some ink that's for polyester. But the shirts that I order are usually 100% cotton. I don't order anything else unless I have people that request specifically polyester shirts or whatever shirts. But they do make polyester ink, so you may want to keep you some polyester ink on hand, and you shouldn't have any bleeding with that. And also, you have to take into account that the polyester does not take as long as cotton for the ink to cure, because polyester holds heat. So that could be a thing right there that you kind of, I don't know what the word would be, but if you're printing and the polyester ink goes through, the polyester goes through, and the heat is on it too much, that could kind of, I guess, burn the ink off, or so. I don't even know what you would call it, but I have printed on polyester before and let it go through, and I used some red ink to print on the polyester shirt, and I didn't really like how it came out because I left it in there too long, and that was my fault. So that could be something right there. The brand of ink that I use is and I print on 100% cotton shirts. I rarely print on polyester shirts, but when I do print on polyester shirts, I make sure to use either the polyester ink, or do a white underbase, which, the white ink that I use is, it's for polyester also. The ink that I use is Rutland, the white ink, but the other inks that I use are the high opaque. They're all high opaque inks, and they are the Union inks. Yeah, the cotton shirts shouldn't cause any bleeding, but if you're doing 50/50, sometimes you can get some bleeding. And Tom, Uproar says, how many times are you swiping the ink through the screen? Yeah, and that's another question, what William said. Are you talking about the shirt showing through, like the ink is not covering, or the bleed of the ink is coming through? And Scooby-Doo is asking, did you flash the ink? Did you flash the ink? Yeah, it could be because you're using the polyester shirts or the 50/50 shirts, because they have ink that is specific for the polyester. But I know for a fact that the 100% cotton works better unless you are using polyester ink. Steven said, do I have to custom art frequently, and is it possible from Photoshop? Thinking I should be using Photoshop instead of Illustrator, possibly. Yes, I do have to do custom art, but most of the stuff that I'm doing is using clip art. So I'm not actually like drawing it because I can't draw. And in Photoshop, you can draw, you can do a lot of different things. Like in Illustrator, you make things into vectors, and I don't know a whole lot about Illustrator because I'm pretty much Photoshop with everything. But everything, pretty much what I do Photoshop can do it for me as far as separating colors and manipulating the artwork. All right, Tom. I hope that you got some helpful information from the people on here and from me. But yeah, if you're using that 50/50, you probably gonna have to end up getting you some polyester ink or undercoating, or using an underbase with the white polyester ink. Yeah, Williams says most ink manufacturers make ink that work on both poly and cotton, so you only have to carry one white ink, and that's what I use. The Rutland white ink that I use is for both. Scooby Doo said I need to learn to separate my colors, and I didn't know you could separate colors with Photoshop. Yep, it's not that hard. You just use the magic wand tool, and I've been having issues with my screen capture program, because I have a few videos that people have requested, and some of them have requested it a while back, but I'm trying to get to where I can do more tutorials for y'all. And just like when I started today, I have been fooling around with it, trying to get it to work. And that's why when I first started the live stream today, my screen was dark because I didn't go back and change the settings. But I don't know what the deal is. But you basically, if you know anything about Photoshop, you can use the magic wand tool and put the different colors on different layers. Yes, you can do layers in Photoshop. Each different, you can have, I don't know how many different layers. It's a lot. Yeah, I'm working on that, Scooby Doo. I'm trying to get it done. I've been working on it all week whenever I would get a chance, just trying to get the program to work. But hopefully I can get it done. I'm gonna have to look into getting me another screen capture program, because I'm using that OBS Studio right now. Let me see. Trying to see if I missed any questions. Stephen Jones says, what shirt supplier do I use the most? Mostly Staten, because it's closer and I can get everything the next day. Let me see. No, I got you, Scooby Doo. I do need to get it together. I need to get stuff together, because it's kind of holding me up from doing some videos I really want to get out there. All right, smooth girl. What did you get you already got a heat press? If so, you can go ahead and get started. If you don't want to commit to getting full rolls just yet, you can go on Amazon and get you a couple of those like starter packs with different colors in it, and kind of make you some shirts and post them on your social media and let everybody know that you made those shirts. And pretty soon you'll probably start getting orders from other people. Um, Smooth Girl says that the 220 volt does not work in your house. Like, what do you mean it doesn't work? Let me see. I don't know what my, is it like, does it cause problems? Okay, Scooby Doo already adjusted that. Did a question from there. Like, oh, if you're talking about when you say where from, you can get the starter packs from Amazon. They have like some different colors. If you look at some if you look at some of my videos, I have some links for different starter packs. You may have to. Mine just works in a regular. Let me see. My heat press has like a 3-prong plug like this. I don't know exactly if yours have a different thing than how this one is. But this is actually from my laptop, but let me see. But it's got the 3 prongs on it like this. That's how my heat press is. And I'm sorry, I'm not an electrician, so I can't really tell you. I guess that's 220, 210. I don't know. I'm not an electrician, so I can't really tell you what that is. But is that how yours is? I don't know. I might. All right, Jason. We was asking about you earlier. Why you up so late? Why you just not getting on here? You need to go back and stroll up and check out some of the comments about you. um, but yeah, mine came with just a regular 3-prong outlet. It didn't come with any special plugs or anything. So I don't know. I maybe would send that one back because I don't know. I just like the idea of being able to move my heat press around if I need to, instead of having to have it by a special outlet, kind of like the AC and my conveyor dryer. They have special plugs for them. Hey, where did you order yours from, Smooth Girl? If you can send it back, I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking of what I would do, but if you could send it back, or if you could get them to send another plug and have that one, I don't know what to tell you exactly, but I would want to send it back and get one that, a basic plug that works in pretty much any outlet. I mean, it's up to you though. You could have one installed. Okay, Uproar says, Smooth Girl, if you don't have a 220 outlet and you really need the heat press, you can get something called a T-bone converter at a place that sells RV stuff. It makes 220 or 110. Okay, so mine must be a 110. I don't know. I'm probably special, a little special on here since I don't know that already. All right, Jason. Yeah, if you don't want to have to get I guess the thing for the RVs that I was just telling you about that someone else posted, or replace that or something, or get a 220 in your house, I would try to send it back. I don't know, I just feel like it makes it more versatile if you have the regular plug. But I mean, it's kind of up to you. I would be on the phone with them trying to find out though. How you doing, Gina? Yeah, yeah, Jason. Go up and read the comments about yourself. And Smooth Girl, he said, Uproar also said that they have that little thing you need for your plug on Amazon. What's going on, Steph Curry? I mean Antonio Curry. All right. If I have any more questions or if y'all have any more questions or requests, y'all can go ahead and post them because I'm getting ready to get off. I've been on since 3:30 and I'm trying to start doing it at 3:30 from 3:30 to 4:30 each week on Sundays, 3:30 Central Time. All right. Business is going pretty good, Gina. Getting ready for the 4th. I'm running a special for this month. I'm hoping to be super busy this month. School is getting ready to start back and stuff, and I got to take the kids on a vacation before school start back. So I'm, trying to run that special and get a little extra money generated. Okay, Jason said 220 turns better, or maybe runs better and saves you money. I think it may be a typo. Either turns or runs better and saves you money in the long run. If you know an electrician, get an estimate. It cost him about 120 to get his hooked up, but it was a free. Thanks, Gina. Tom Garcia says, I have a 220, pay that electrician 75. It heats up much faster, less power on your bill. Well, maybe that's just me uh, trying to be simple and thinking that, the plug that can plug in anywhere would be better. But, the only thing about that is you kind of, unless you have a lot of different areas where you have the 220 at, you will have to keep your heat press. And if you look at some of my videos, I have moved my shop all around in different ways. So, that's just something that I was thinking about, as having to be in one area. Um, Pierre Lewis says, hi, I just started having some issues with light for my light box. Which one should I get? 18 inches. The one that I have a video of. It's called my exposure unit, and I got the HBE. It's called the 18 by 20. I think it's 18 by 20, but if you watch my videos, you can see that the 24 by 20 screens that I use fit on it perfectly, and they don't hang over on the side. That one is like the cheapest one that I found. And I also have talked in the past about using a UDO as an exposure unit if you don't want to spend as much money, right away, because the UDO, a lot of people are selling them for cheap because they bought something they thought they was going to use, and I guess for whatever reason ended up not using it. So that's another option. But those are the two if you're looking for something on the budget end. But if you're looking for something and you have whatever amount to spend, I have looked into the Vastex, what do you call them? I can't even think of the lights, but it's the Vastec ones. I thought were pretty nice. So I mean, it's kind of up to you. If you want something budget, the two that I said, the HBE or home base equipment, and the UDO, or you could go with something fancy. Oprah said, "Do I get a lot of halftone jobs?" Not really. Like some of that, it kind of depends on if I make the design into halftones. Like when people come in here, I have had the across the tracks shirts, the ones that I did for the liquor store. That design on the front is like a little pocket logo, and it's halftone, and they get those printed, every so often whenever they run out because they sell them in their store. But I don't get like a whole lot of halftones. It just most of the halftone jobs are depending on me making the design. If I make a design that's something halftone, then you know. Let me see. Gina says sublimation is calling you. Opportunities are endless. You need to display with mugs and other stuff. Have you looked at my business page? Um, I don't think I have. What's the name of your page? Um, let me Scooby Doo. Let me check and see who that Phoenix White ink is from, cause it's been a while. I still have some in there, but I mostly just use the Rutland now. Give me just a sec. And you know what? I was saying Phoenix White, but it's actually the Diamond White, and it's by Union Ink. It's Diamond White. I don't know why I was saying Phoenix White, but let me see if you can see it on here. But it's Diamond White. Trying to see if I can show it on here good. I don't know. My video quality is not the best right now, but it's by Union Ink. And Jason said the Phoenix is the triangle ink. I was saying the wrong thing, Jason, but that triangle ink may be pretty good too. Well, if that's it for the questions, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here, and I'll catch you guys next Sunday at 3:30 Central Time. But if you have any questions, go ahead and post them. And Scooby Doo and Jason, I don't know what y'all gonna do after this, but I'm gonna be asking a lot of questions next week. Thanks, Gina. I'll see you next time. Yeah, Jason, did you get a chance to go back and read all those comments about you? Thank y'all for tuning in. See you later. See you later, Uproar. I'm sorry, I'm reading and talking. See you next time, Smooth Girl and Lou. All right, Imagination Apparel. See you next time. Later, Tom. All right, Jason. Don't be trying to make Scooby Doo jealous now. Don't be trying to make her jealous. Telling her you miss me. All right, Jason. See you later. And I'll see you guys next Sunday at 3:30. And I'll be trying to post as many videos as I can this week. And some of the ones that y'all asked about, like the screen mesh video, I'll try to get that one out this week also. But thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys next Sunday at 3:30 Central Time. Bye.